What do you see out there? I showed some of the numbers. We're going to get into a lot with you tonight. But first, big picture, what are you bracing for tomorrow?
Well, I see these big numbers. I hope that the fewer people that look like me are voting and more females are voting and more people under 35 are voting. And there's some reason to think that might be the true. Harvard does this youth study and showed abnormally high interest among younger people. If that translates into votes tomorrow, I would be more optimistic. If we see if normal election might have 52.3% female, if it's 55.1, that'll help. I mean, as we said in the campaign world, the hay's in the barn now. I mean, they're coming out tomorrow in big versions, and we need something to start this turnout to do okay, and we may get it. I will just hope for the best.
You said the hay is in the barn?
That's just an expression.
I don't want to reveal myself as born in Seattle and bred in Brooklyn, but you're going to have to break that one down for me. What happens to the hay in the barn?
That just means once the hay's in the barn, your job is over. It didn't rain, and you got it in the barn, and it's all done, and we can look at another thing. It's not that complicated.
No,
But it just means
it's not that complicated. I love it. Well,
the work is done.
Well, I don't know where to take it with the barn, but I will tell you this. Barack Obama campaigns as only he can. I mean, he still seems to strike a chord in a way others don't. And he took this real partisan hatred. I mean, the right-wing attempt to demonize and villainize Joe Biden after people like Lindsey Graham publicly said, this is one of the best guys you could ever work with. Right. The effort to turn him into something else. Obama found a way to sort of reconnect in his closing argument. What does it tell you about how much they care about solving your problems or inflation or anything if that's their agenda stated? Here's Obama.
Some of them said we're gonna impeach Biden. They're not quite sure why or what for, but that's irrelevant to them. Think about that. How is that going to help you, your family? That's the choice in this election. Between politicians who seem willing to do anything and say anything to get power, and those who share your values and want to make your lives better.
Your view on the Democrats' closing argument there?
Well, first of all, President Obama's the only presidential candidate since Eisenhower to get over 50 twice, I think. So he's a very accomplished. I would have closed a little bit different, and that was a great close. But I would have said the Republicans have told you what they're going to do if they're elected. They're going to shut the government down to force cuts in Social Security and Medicare. You heard me correctly. Kevin McCarthy has said that. Rick Scott has said that. Ted Budd has said that. Ron Johnson has said that. Do you think with an economic message when you're suffering from on a fixed income or your parents or your grandparents that we're not going to get you COLA, we're actually going to cut your Social Security and Medicare? That's what we should be closing on. That's what they say they're going to do. And that would be, they're not going to be able to impeach Biden because they're not going to have enough votes in the Senate. They will try to shut the government down to force this. And they've always tried to do that, and we need to close it out. I think Obama's great. I'm just like, but I just want to get that Social Security, Medicare, close to government, which is a trifecta of unpopular ideas. We got to understand that. These are three of the most unpopular ideas in American politics: shutting the government down, cutting Social Security, or cutting Medicare. And I hope a lot of candidates are closing with that message. Yeah. Because they do have an economic plan.
Well, and to be clear, Obama, Biden, and others have hit on that as well, while also trying to get on just the straightforward economic stuff, because the democracy threat, which we could talk about, is real. And yet, as you know, you want to connect with people on what they're thinking about, what's relevant to them day to day. Go ahead.
Right. But we don't say, and President Biden has said that, and President Obama said that, and people have mentioned it. You don't say anything in politics until you say it 500 times. How many crime spots have they won?
Right.
How much time do they spend on Fox with an issue that we should be ahead on, by the way? Crime. We have a much better record than they do, but I can't relitigate that the day before the election. But my point is, we're going to have to learn to, you got to keep saying it to the exclusion of everything else. And yeah, I don't have a problem with what President Biden said, President Obama. They know what's at stake here. But I'm afraid that there are more voters out there going to election day that think the Democrats are going to defund the police, which is demonstratively not true, than believe that the Republicans will shut the government down to force cuts to Social Security and Medicare, which demonstratively is true. It is true. All right? But this is, I can't change that right now, but I will say that these early numbers do give me some hope that this thing might go better than a lot of people are saying.
Interesting. Well, I'm going to do, with your blessing, I'm going to do state-by-state early vote with you coming up. Right. So we'll get into exactly what we're seeing there. You mentioned, though, the importance of repetition, sort of the reverse. I don't know if you ever listened to Talking Heads, David Byrne. He said, say something once, why say it again? In politics, you're telling us it's the opposite. Republicans are saying something true or not 500 times to drill it in. We've seen the crime message come in. I mean, it was critical race theory in the off year in Virginia. Now it's a lot of the crime message. Here's what Bill Clinton, who you worked for, said about that.
He makes it sound like Kathy Hochul gets up every morning, goes to the nearest subway stop, and hands out billy clubs and baseball bats. But what are the Republicans really saying? I want you to be scared, and I want you to be mad. And the last thing I want you to do is think.
Is the crime message, which is being responded to by the former president, because it's obviously broken through to some degree, is that something where the Republicans have found something really visceral and local to run on?
Close to my heart, Ari. So in the spring of 2021, I wrote a piece in the Wall Street Journal saying the Democrats better own this issue. I was told that we just can't do that the foundations would go berserk. I don't know where the foundations ever got veto power over Democratic messages.
Foundations meaning like
the Ford Foundation. Let's be very clear. The Ford Foundation. Yeah, let's name names. Then I know of two friends of mine who are high-end political people. One went to Vice President Harris. People said, you need to run on this. Said, we can't do that. Another went to a Senate retreat somewhere in Eastern Maryland and said, well, we just can't do that. Why? Why can't we? By the way, President Clinton and Joe Biden authored the most successful piece of crime-fighting legislation in American history, the Crime Bill of 1994. Was it excessive in some of the sentencing stuff? Yes, because John Kasich, the Republicans, put that in to get it passed. But did the crime rate drop like this between 1994 and 2019? Yes, it did. And it only came back in the last year of the Trump presidency. In red states, of the 10 states with the highest crime rate, 8 are red states. Crime in Republican-run cities like Bakersfield and Jacksonville are significantly higher than they are in a Democratic city like San Francisco. We have not told people that because the Ford Foundation blocks our messaging.
I appreciate the candor. This is what some guests I have to push them to get there. With you, come right with it. And by the way, if the Ford Foundation, if they want to come on, I'll hear their side of it. I always keep the door open here, but I appreciate you being so direct.
Right.
And what you're doing is you're also lifting the lid on how some of these elite conversations go, where you have all these groups, money, pressure, and then you have to figure out what's the right thing. I mean, we've had a lot of people on this program talking about the fact that you can have humane criminal justice reform and public safety. In other words, you're not going to lose public safety, I don't think, if you're ever trying to run a majority coalition in the city. Let me show one more. I'm going to keep you here, thank goodness. But let me show you real quick the democracy side I mentioned. Here was Obama on that.
When true democracy goes away, people get hurt. It has real consequences. This is not an abstraction. Governments start telling you what books you can read and which ones you can't. Dissidents start getting locked up. Reporters start getting locked up if they're not towing the party line. Corruption reigns because there's no accountability.
Where does that figure into the closing argument? And this is a quasi-political, quasi-civic question, James. Where does it fit into how you're going to be watching the results tomorrow, where we have more candidates than ever publicly running on the idea that they may not accept the results?
Well, yeah, and of course, we're going to be looking at things we don't normally look at in the past: Secretary of State's races, state Supreme Court races, state legislative races. It's very frightening. There's only one hope for democracy in the United States, and I'm serious, and that is the Democratic Party. I admit I'm a member of that party. I admit it's kind of constipated. It's kind of cumbersome. It's affected by too many different things. But that's it. I mean, it's kind of frightening to think that I'm 78 years old. I've been a member of this party since I can remember. And that we're the only thing between us and totalitarianism. But you know what? It's true. And if you want to save democracy, there's one thing you can do. Vote Democratic. And sometimes you're going to have to hold your nose. Sometimes you're not going to like the messaging. Sometimes you're not going to like this. But you have got to do that. The Republicans don't even talk about saving democracy. It's literally, they say that if we're going to win the 2020 because I'm going to count the votes.
Yeah,
that's just a fact.
No,
I'm sorry.
as you say, and that's the thuggish nature of it. I use that word deliberately. There are autocrats around the world who lead in a thuggish manner, and I don't say every single Republican on the ballot or in the country, but those who do the autocratic pitch and say we're going to do this. What you just said, we're going to be in charge of counting, so it'll be a Putin-style election. I mean, they have quote unquote claimed elections in Russia. But they control it all. So let me do this. Hey, I'm Ari Melber. Thanks for watching The Beat. I wanted to let you know I'm writing a foreword to the January 6th committee's full report, which is coming out soon from HarperCollins. You can go pre-order the book right now, and it'll come to you first when the report comes out in the fall or whenever the government releases it. Just search Melber Jan 6th on Amazon or your favorite independent book site and click pre-order. You'll be the first to get both the report and my new piece on the coup conspiracy. You can also go to melberbook.com and order it there.